In the tangled web of Formula One drama, who do you think stands to gain the most from Christian Horner's bombshell revelation about Lewis Hamilton's potential move to Red Bull? Major drama is erupted in Formula One as controversial remarks made by Red Bull boss Christian Horner about Lewis Hamilton pursuing a seat with them has sparked fiery debate. In the deep dive, we're going to break down Horner's eye-opening claims that Hamilton's camp contacted Red Bull regarding driving for them in 2024, analyze how Lewis responded, and discuss how this war of words could spell massive trouble for the F1 juggernaut. Buckle up, because turbulence lies ahead. The saga began when Christian Horner alleged in an interview that representatives of seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton reached out to Red Bull about the possibility of him joining Max Verstappen for the 2024 season. Horner insisted Hamilton's camp initiated contact as the British legend struggles at Mercedes. This explosive revelation dominated headlines before the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Given Hamilton still had a year left on his Mercedes contract, recruiting him would require buying out the deal. But Horner claims the Hamilton camp was inquiring about open seats, escalating tensions. By making this private driver negotiating public, Horner forces uncomfortable scrutiny upon rival Mercedes, while the revelation would shock the F1 world if true. Does Hamilton wish to abandon the team that granted him 6 world titles? And would Red Bull actually consider pairing the two-time defending champion Verstappen with his former arch-nemesis? Either way, Horner's bold comments insinuate cracks exist in Hamilton's storied partnership with Mercedes, likely deliberately stirring controversy. Why do you think Horner chose to publicly divulge these private driver negotiations? Was he deliberately trying to rock the boat and create discord? However, Lewis Hamilton himself wasted no time refuting Horner's claims that his agents contacted Red Bull about jumping ships with Mercedes, the only F1 team Hamilton has ever driven for in his illustrious career. Hamilton immediately took to social media asserting he remains completely loyal to Mercedes long-term, denying any talks occurred about joining rival Red Bulls down the line. In a rare public rebuttal, Hamilton wrote, "I was approached by Christian Horner. That's not true. There was never any conversation between us. My contact is with Mercedes until 2023. He maintained a steadfast commitment to Mercedes through at least 2023. By speaking out so firmly, Hamilton aimed to halt speculation about potentially partnering with his fiercest championship rival, Max Verstappen, something he likely views as betrayal of Mercedes' trust. Lewis's curt response and categorical denial on Twitter put Horner's credibility into some question in the heated driver matters debate intensifying within Formula One's fierce landscape. Who do you think is being more truthful in the bizarre war of words, Christian Horner or Lewis Hamilton? Why might one exaggerate or even misrepresent private conversation? With Lewis Hamilton openly contradicting his initial starting remarks regarding contact from Hamilton's camp, Red Bull's team principal Christian Horner faced pointed questioning to clarify the driver market, controversy during an Abu Dhabi Grand Prix press conference. Squirming somewhat under the glare, Horner seemed to soften his previous allegations about formal negotiations occurring, claiming informal discussions between drivers' camps are commonplace in Formula One. However, while denying any specific concrete offer was made, Horner crucially stuck by his claims that Lewis's father, Anthony, initiated contact with Red Bull head honchos. Horner explained it's typical for drivers' representatives to take meetings and calls to assess options, while maintaining his belief Hamilton's people expressed discontent. But sticking by claims of communication maintained suspicion around Hamilton's supposedly satisfied status at Mercedes, as whispers build regarding frustrations Lewis has occasionally voiced the past 2 seasons regarding mechanical struggles. Red Bull obviously feels highly confident in the World Championship driving tandem of 2-time defending title winner Max Verstappen and veteran number 2 Sergio Perez. Yet Lewis inquiries, even if preliminary and informal per Horner's revised statements, certainly reveal Hamilton's cards while simultaneously potentially destabilizing dynamics within the Mercedes brass now facing scrutiny over their star champion exploring external options. Why might Horner spark external rumors about Lewis Hamilton's impending availability? Could floating exaggerated speculation represent purposeful pot-stirring ploys to create discord between Lewis and Mercedes execs? While Red Bull principal Christian Horner attempted to rhetorically downplay the magnitude of those conversational publicized paddock conversations likely intended to remain private, the reverberations from this bizarre driver contract negotiation saga seems guaranteed to only intensify further rather than fade away, as all major players involved have firmly stated their version of events. The cracks emerging from this war of words reveal how fragile even legendary partnerships like Hamilton enjoying a record-setting tenure for one team can sour quickly within Formula One's cutthroat driver politics. And they signify how predatory rival executives like Christian Horner smell blood in the water, ready to pounce on inner turmoil. Within the Mercedes camp, the risk exists that team ace Lewis Hamilton feels deeply undermined by his own executives going forward. Crucial seeds of mistrust already having been sparked late last season when Mercedes controversially overruled star driver Hamilton for questionable race strategy decisions. This new cloud of perceived internal tension certainly stands to weaken the once airtight constructor foundation of mutual faith Hamilton's partnership with Mercedes has relied on for dominance. Likewise, on a more personal relationship level, Hamilton seems likely to resent Red Bull head honcho Christian Horner using his status and media leverage as apparent negotiating bait, even if unintentionally. Lewis could come to view the drama itself as fundamentally disrespectful, regardless of Horner's attempts at clarifying benign intentions. Those kind of sentiments don't bode well for the next round of contract negotiations expected next year when Hamilton's current Mercedes deal begins expiring. Meanwhile, within the Red Bull racing powerhouse, similar unease could permeate both financially and culturally regarding triggering external speculations about the talents they have under long-term existing contracts like Sergio Perez, now forced to reaffirm his commitment to Perez publicly to quell media storylines. Horner may have created complications where none needed to exist. Red Bull's front office could suddenly face tougher decisions about retaining Perez if young phenom Max Verstappen himself ever echoed preference for exploring a potential superior championship caliber teammate like Hamilton. In all, Horner's seemingly short-sighted pot-stirring here litigated the explosive driver market sweepstake has fractured integral relationships all around heading into critical contract negotiation period immediately ahead. The exaggerated media brinkmanship could have stark implications, ultimately influencing driver pairing decisions next season and beyond. The strange off-track confrontation demands eventual reconciliation and rebuilding of trust for parties involved. While scandals and friction inherently follow the dramatic theater of Formula One off the circuits, this bizarre player versus player escalating feud seems more impactful as tensions boil among icons spanning multiple generations and racing dynasties. The pettiness risks grave consequences if relationships sour intractably or hidden motives get revealed after the fact. For fans, though, off-track drama simply enhances the thrill of the competition. But behind closed team doors, the deep ramifications from internal staff, sponsors, shareholders, and contracted talent gives this borderline sabotage fracas much higher stakes financially and culturally. Ultimately, for figures like Horner and Hamilton leading billion-dollar racing enterprises, retaining harmony will prove instrumental in success chasing future championship glories. Might Red Bull actually entertain genuinely pursuing and poaching the iconic Lewis Hamilton away from Mercedes to replace Perez as Verstappen anticipates battles with young talents like George Russell and Charles Leclerc? Looking ahead, the 2024 driver lineup across top Formula One teams like Mercedes and Red Bull seems shrouded in far greater uncertainty after the bizarre scandal broke regarding Hamilton's status. Just 12 months ago, another year of status quo partnership seemed a given. But with trust now eroded between Lewis and Mercedes brass after internal tensions boiled over in late 2022 around strategy and machinery woes, relegating Hamilton to 0 race wins, it no longer feels unfathomable that all-time legend tests free agency. Meanwhile, for Perez, Red Bull chiefs could suddenly view replacing him with a higher caliber running mate for Verstappen as mandatory rather than hypothetical. In peculiar, talented young George Russell at Mercedes looks poised to take over Lewis's #1 seed as the new face for the franchise. And at Red Bull, searching for a Perez upgrade to contend with Russell and Ferrari phenom Charles Leclerc seems inevitable long-term. Might Red Bull roll the dice on poaching Hamilton from Mercedes as Max Verstappen's wingman to ward off youthful challengers and cement supremacy? Crazy as it sounds, Christian Horner's explosive comments now plant that seed, with massive implications on driver decisions that now feel extremely in flux. Could Horner's loose lips regarding Hamilton's inquiries lead to Alonso's-esque betrayal at McLaren, where testing Fernando paved the way for Lewis's entrance? History shows seismic shifts happen suddenly once barriers are broken. Formula One never lacks wild drama, both on and off the racetrack. Clearly, the war of words over global superstar Lewis Hamilton's future and allegiance spells major trouble for championship contender Red Bull and Mercedes alike entering the critical driver contract season ahead of 2024. How do you ultimately see the driver market saga playing out? Could Hamilton shock the racing world by switching teams to pair with former rival Verstappen? Or will Mercedes pony up and keep Lewis leading the Silver Arrows? Let us know your takes in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon. Thanks for watching.